All right, what's going on? Man, I have not been on the boom pump for a while. I've been around the boom pumps a lot. I have not actually pumped a job with one for months now. So here we go. 38 meter 5 section, which will come in handy here. We got some low hanging cable telephone wires that we gotta swing under to get the boom unfolded off the truck. And all we're pouring here is a couple loads of footings. I'll show you that in a bit. I'll show you that right now. There you go. A couple loads of footings for future foundation walls for a nice residential home. So we got a nice little spot here we pulled in. I'm not going to pull in too far. It gets tighter up there. Outrigger room for outriggers becomes an issue. And then I would also have to finagle around to get the mixer in here. The way I'm sitting here right now, just back the truck straight on, bingo bango. Either way, I would not get far enough in that I can recirculate and whatnot around the power lines anyhow, so.
And then the guy goes on.
So this will work well. I think. Let's get some outriggers out, we'll throw some dunnage down. We'll talk all about it. We'll have a good time. It'll be great. I promise. Promise. Rewind, and there we go. And yeah, the remote's not super clean. It wasn't me, I swear. But it doesn't matter. Show us results, not excuses, right? All right, outriggers on, RPM's up. Here we go. Oh yeah, gloves on, that too. Hey!
You won't be able to circulate, right?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
But,
I'm gonna do the math right now then.
oh, you haven't ordered the balance? That's not a good first question to ask when you roll on the site. Hey, can you recirculate? Hey, you want to see how strong I am? Watch this. No, not that strong. I actually thought I could do it maybe. Okay. We'll make a slight adjustment here. There we go. What Tom was referring to there is if we have to wait for our cleanup load or our tag load, being able to spin the boom around and recirculate the pump or the concrete through the pump. I'm not too concerned about that. There's lots of ways around that. So. Hey, what's going on? Let's see how we did here. That's a little better. That's what we like. Okay. So what we're going to do here on the front outriggers, they're going to see all the load here. Instead of using just a 24-inch by 24-inch square pad, which is 576 square inches of surface area on the soil, and with a 43,000 pound outrigger, yields us a PSI on the ground pressure of just under 75 PSI to the ground. We're going to use 2 of these per outrigger leg. So put down 2 of these. Put a 24 by 24 pad on top. Those are just under 1,800 square inches. 48 inches by 18 inches wide each, times 2. These are made by Dyka. It's called a Fibermax material. They're like a carbon Kevlar composite, extremely rigid, extremely durable. That gets our ground pressure down to about 24 PSI. So 1/3 of what it is using just those square pads. Yeah, the ground here is pretty good, but peace of mind, right? It's easy enough to do. Better safe than sorry. Our company policy is any outriggers which we're booming out over, we use 2 of those pads as a bare minimum. We start at 2 pads and we go from there. Anyhow, we'll get the rest of these legs planted and check back in. Beautiful. That is solid. Keep everybody safe. It's Friday. We all want to go home safe for the weekend, right? Just that extra little bit of due diligence creates that added measure of safety. Now the back legs, I'm not obviously swinging over these, so I'll just throw the squares down. Like so. Tighten that one up a little bit. Cover onto this side. Tighten these up. When I'm doing this, I always watch to see if there's any kind of settlement. Give it a couple of those. Nothing's moving, right? Good. We're happy. Now we unfold here, you see this loose dangling cable. This cable here is nothing. Ah! Gotcha. No, that's a nothing wire. So go ahead here, we're going to utilize the capabilities of the 5-section boom. It's great for stuff like this. Just kick it out of the cradle and swing it at a low unfolding height, get it around off the front, and then we unfold the rest of the way. Oh my, really? Concrete's early. Of course it is. Doesn't happen ever anymore, but apparently today it does. Now our local regulation on that bottom cable telephone line is no touch. Like I said, the wire that's dangling there, that's nothing. You can see, check it out on both ends, it's a nothing wire. The 3 above it are 220 volt supply wires. We have to stay 1 meter from those. The top ones are the bad boys, those are 12.5 kV, and those are the ones we have to maintain a minimum distance of 10 feet from. That's the one we want. Product placement. Alliance anti-stick. I love this stuff. Now, that being said, this hopper is gross-ish, but we'll still give her a little blast for an easier washout. That scabby stuff like that, it's the worst thing. It just makes your washout more difficult at the end of the day. Nice clean metal is what you need. Clean, well-oiled metal. It makes life a lot easier in the long run. Rate that hopper 5. And that's probably being generous. Like that. Let the unnamed operator here, we'll let him off easy because the outside of the pump is really nice and clean, so we're not going to toss him under the bus too much about the hopper, but could use improvement. Okay, let's back us a mixer on and rock and roll. Perfect, love it. So I just received in my possession 2 new pump holsters, and I'm thinking about one on this pump And yeah, it's got this retractable hose reel, which it's old and crusty, and I don't know what the heck happened to our aircon nozzle. Huh. I know I dragged it down the freeway 30 miles, but it was still operational. But, come on, baby. Are you gonna lock for me? Really? No way. There we go. Okay, well, confirm this thing is getting a hopper holster because this retractable reel is not locking in place. Or better yet, use the mixer's water. Can I borrow some water, sir? Kind sir. Okay. So to prime this out in a Z with just water, old school water prime. We'll fire this thing up. Let it stroke correct first. When it hits the third stroke, it'll pressure out. Like that. There we go. Full volume forward pumping. And all we're going to do stop the pump. There we go. We're good to go. Okay, Robbie. And we're ready. Turn our air cuff on. There we go. Set the volume to about a 3. I won't show the driver on camera. It's okay, the vibrator will break it up, right? It's okay. Little dyno egg, no big whoop. All right, there we go. Looks a little rockier than usual today. Probably because all the cement is in that egg and not mixed amongst the aggregate. So we put this through about 30% volume. Guys aren't going to touch the hose until this comes through. Right, up about there, we'll hear it fall into that, down in the bottom of that third section. We'll roll up into the fourth pretty quick here. And she's coming up that fourth section right now. A little bit gritty there. She's a little gritty. We'll get there. A little gritty. Comes. Just like that, we're pumping concrete. Okay, Tom, I'm ready for you. I know that sounds kind of weird, but I know there's guys that use a lot more water. I'm personally not a fan. It just, in my opinion, just leads to segregation or increases the chances of. A little bit of water is all it takes, as long as you got nice clean pipes. Just a little schmeg of water. A little smidgy. And yes, priming out in the A-frame position is best practice. I've run this machine for quite some time, have some good experience on it. I'm fully confident in priming out in a Z. But if you're unsure, the A-frame is always your highest percentage prime. But knowing this pump, it primes through just fine in a Z as well, with our mixes here. That'll change based on the mixes in your area. So like I said, This is just the way I do it. It doesn't mean it's the way that you should do it, but works great for me.
Almost enough.
All right, first truck is done. And knowing that we were gonna have a wait for the second truck, we actually had the our helpful driver throw in a couple bags of the Fritz Pack delay set powder that they carry on board, just to give this some time so we can sit here under the wires and not have to stress about it. We'll still check in on the concrete periodically, obviously, never assume anything, but. So this is the product. What we found is that for fresh concrete, just your fresh average, call it 28 MPa concrete, I find that one bag per every 3 cubic meters gives it about half an hour to an hour of delay. You get into things like shotcrete or the real high MPa mixes, those ratios are obviously thrown way off. Concrete that's already hot, it's already cooking, this stuff does not work great. It's got to be relatively fresh. Once the stuff starts to rock and roll, you need something like Delvo or Recover. If you don't have another job you go to and you're not going to use the concrete, sugar is king. But for what most of what we do, I love this product. I'm in no way endorsed by Fritz Pack, but this is the best mild retarder, day-to-day retarder, hands down. Highly recommend. So what we'll do here, because we can't recirculate, I left my hopper about half full. I'll wait about 20 minutes. I'll pump that down the rest of the way. Like I said, periodically checking in on the concrete. Other options would be, if I was really concerned about it, flip the lid down, or if actually first throw some delay powder in the hopper, then flip the lid down, pump right out, and just get some of that delayed concrete through the boom. If the mud was hot, I might pump out, suck a sponge back, and then I'm not sitting around waiting with my boom full. But there's always options. Just because you can't recirculate doesn't mean that your goose is cooked. Just gotta be proactive rather than reactive, right? All right, so I've had people ask in previous videos about the hose storage setup we have on this 38-meter pump. From factory, it's a little bit challenged in terms of storing 20 and 25 foot lengths of hose. So what we did, we put this sheet metal cover here. We had this sheet metal tray created to slide the hoses up on top of the pedestal here. The two-piece, easily removed so you can access your filters. The racks here, we got one on this side, one on that leg. From factory, that rack was from factory, and it was a 2-level. So we cut one level off, made some brackets for this side, and put that level over on this side. So we have storage on each side. I love on the inside of these outrigger legs that we have extra storage. Storage inside there. And then we put this piece of angled aluminum down here to hold the hoses in place. So it gives us lots of room for hose. We carry about 200 feet on this pump at all times, and we can put another 200 feet on it. So great hose storage solution for what we do with the long hoses. That's our Conforms quick line pumping adapter. Stores underneath of there. It's like a jigsaw puzzle, this thing, with the way everything is stored and fits together here. Custom storage rack, another Uncle Tony special. To do it again, I would not do these individual slots for the pads. It's a bit of a pain in the butt, and it was a ton extra labor putting all those in place. I would just have another fold down basket, and the pads just slide right in there. No need for these in my opinion. Yeah, sweet on concrete, everything's looking good. Dunnage is solid, not going anywhere. I made a video on this before, calculating dunnage and ground pressure. I firmly believe it's something that every operator should know. It's not that difficult. You just get your surface area, get your maximum outrigger load, which should be tagged on your outriggers, and do some division, and it'll give you your ground pressure. It's very enlightening once you get into the habit of doing it to realize how under cribbed or under dunnaged a lot of pumps are, especially on the big boom side of things. So I'll put a link to that video maybe for calculating dunnage at the end of this one maybe, and I'll put a link up here somewhere too. It's worth the watch in my opinion. Vital information to know. What I'll do sometimes while I wait, especially if the sun is on the concrete in the hopper, I'll either flip my lid down or throw on my lid within a lid, which I actually really like these. This is 3/8 thick arena board. They actually use it for lining the boards in an ice arena. And we just use this so that lid stays cleaner. Just kind of a handy secondary measure to have. So yeah, you see we got extra reducers. We got one of each size extra. Backups, got an elbow up in there. Just try and keep everything on the pump we could need in most any reasonable scenario. All right, well, we've been sitting for about 20 minutes here, so I'm gonna pump a few strokes off. Before I do, just a little pinch, doesn't take much. A little spritz of water. This is just footings, so it doesn't matter if there's one area that's a little bit slower setting. If this were finished concrete or architectural walls or something like that, I might not do this, or I would at least consult with the placer finishers before doing so. I'll still let the guys know. Like I said, this is all just going into footing. So what I love about this stuff, Doesn't kill the concrete. It just slows it down a little bit. It's perfect. Throw our lid back on here. And just take a couple strokes. Does it seem to be setting at all or not really?
Not really.
Yeah, perfect.
Are you gonna blow a little bit more out?
Yeah.
Think we could get it over here then?
Sure, yeah.
Put it in the wall and
What do you think? Pretty good? Okay, beauty. All right, now that we're pumped down, we'll pop our lid off. We'll knock this hopper in a little bit. Be proactive. Knock this stuff down now so we're not dealing with hardened concrete in the corners come day's end. Right? Right. Pumping concrete to an extent is about as hard as you want to make it. And I don't want to make it too hard. Because I'm lazy. There we go. Truck should be here pretty quick. Right? How many times have you heard that one? Okay, the nameless mixers. Oh yeah, you were on a Muddy Feet video. Okay, well you're back. You're back. We had you back. Okay, here we go. I'm just about to post this. Guess the slump. You tell me what it is.
120.
Oh, we can see your reflection in the camera. You think that's a 120? You sure?
I'd say about a 120.
You think so?
What do you think, Scotty?
Well, we're gonna find out. So you think you really want to go with 120? You sure?
On a good day, yeah, 120.
Okay, you want to see what it is? It is. Still change your mind. Still have to change your mind. Just pull the cone.
130. Let's do a 130.
Do a 130?
Yeah.
Okay, well, it is. I regret to inform you, sir, that it is. It's a 200.
That's a 200.
Man, and you do this for a living? Come on. All right, back to work here. We'll pour out the rest of these footings, and then maybe we'll check in when it's time to clean up. It's going to be pretty much cruise control until that point. If anything eventful happens, trust me, we'll check in. All right, because it's our last load on this job. You can do a little rinse in there if you want. I don't mind, yeah, as long as I know it's there and I can act accordingly, that's fine. Yep.
I won't put much. That's what all the mixer runners say. I won't put much water in this one.
You help the driver out, the driver helps us out, right?
That's it, bud.
I'm going to A-frame it and suck back anyhow to blend in with the water, so...
Are ya?
Yeah. Yeah, when the hopper's low like this, if you just add all the water and then continue pumping out, you'll get a big fountain of water and potential segregation. I'm going to A-frame it to pump out anyways, so what I'll do before I start pumping, I'll suck back, bring some concrete back, mix it in with that water, so it's not just one super wet patch. Piece of cake. So I'll do a couple slow strokes in reverse. I got the boom A-framed up here so that concrete can flow back and down. Right, I'll bring some mud back in the hopper. We'll mix it up with that bit of water I put in there. Makes me happy. I got some nice wet stuff in the pump before I pump out. All right, we're all A-framed up. We'll pump out here. We're gonna leave some concrete and build a nice set of stairs for the guys when they're packing their materials in and out of here. Keeping in mind that we got the power lines behind us. That's probably one of the most common scenarios is when there's power line or high voltage wire contacts. Is at the end of the day, guys are wrapping up, packing up, and you kind of forget what's going on back there, right? So always be mindful of what's going on back there. It's not, don't get hyper focused on this. It's all of this, right? Anyhow, we'll pump this out. You'll see that wet stuff will come through towards the end here. I'll run the hose for a little bit here until we get to the point where we're pushing air, then I'll step away from it. Then we'll step away and puke the rest out. We'll get a good bit more mud out of there. Probably another 3 or 4 spits of mud in there. He's finally lost it.
A pump operator that talks to himself.
We all do, just mostly in our heads, right? Why am I doing this? Yeah. See the nice wet stuff from the hopper coming through now? That's what we like. Turn our air cuff off now. The more I pump out here, the less I have to deal with when I wash out and I dump the hopper back there, right? So let's say we're one more little gush and then we're pretty much down to nuggets. There we go. Alrighty, pump off. Okay, Tom, that should be sufficient for creating a Picasso-esque masterpiece. Oh, come on back now to the hopper. Come on back now. Give those sides a little rinse before we pull the sponges back. Right? Right. Grab ourselves a sponge. Soft. Hard. They go soft today. That's actually medium. We'll go medium. A couple buckets of water here. And I'll show you how I like to do this sometimes. Because on this pump we leave the 3-inch whip hose and the couple of reducers in place. We fold up with it on. Power lines back there. I obviously can't get the boom to the back of the pump. So instead of taking my stuff back, washing it, and bringing it back to reattach to the boom, I love doing this little trick with the water here. If you're going to do this, just make sure you don't have any concrete hung up on the elbows of the other boom sections. Otherwise, it can really screw you. And that being said, what I'm going to do first here, throw her into a rabbit speed. We don't want to blend the concrete with the the water with the concrete. We'll close our air cuff here for a sec. We take that third section straight vertical, and we'll hear some concrete fall back down. You will hear some tinkle back down. Where's the tinkle? To make a liar of me. I'll take the fourth section up too. Why the heck not, right? Come on, baby. Tinkle. Yeah, barely a tinkle. Anyhow, so to make sure those three sections are empty. I don't want to risk mixing this water up with the stuff in the boom and rock packing it. This is also going to play into me cleaning out with just one sponge today. The amount of videos I've made sucking back 2 sponges and the bloody comments about all you ever need is one ball, suck it slow, blah, 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 blah. For the most part, I do agree with that, for sure. But just to appease those guys that get mad at me for using 2 sponges, because it takes so much extra time, today we're going to suck back 1 sponge, right? We'll try and please everybody. I've been told that you can't please everybody, but I'm going to do my darndest to try. So, I dunk the hose in here. I'm going to take about 3 strokes in reverse, so I get my life sorted out on the remote control here. About 3 strokes in reverse. There we go. And then kick the hose out, let that water fall out, save the other half a bucket of water, and repeat that process another 2 or 3 times. And that's just to get the water part way up that first boom section to clean all my hose and tapers out, so I can just throw it back on the pump. Something like this. Here we go, 3 strokes in reverse. All right, pull it out, let it drain a bit, and I only do 3 strokes. I don't want to pull that water back too far, and those are kind of like pitiful little strokes. So do that again. There we go. Kill it. Okay. One more time here. Okay. There we go. I like it. Maybe we'll do one more of this clean water here. I kind of fudged that up. It's pretty tough here to do the camera, the hose, and the pump all at the same time. There, that's the clear water we wanted. Yay, we got it. Okay. I'll drop this down, buck the hose and reducers off, and we'll get to our sponge. Pretty amazing how you can just do that without a tape measure or anything.
I think the carpenters are gonna love them.
Yeah, they're gonna love it. The homeowner's gonna love it. Yeah, it's a gift, Tom. It's a gift. All right, let's see what we got here. Nice and clean. Buck this off back here. Nice and clean, right? I like it. Kills me when people don't clean those out at day's end. Anyhow, it's my mini rant for the day. Funny, in one of my videos somebody commented that they get in crap for putting the remote on the ground like that. Always make sure that the boom outrigger switch is neutral. I prefer that rather than wearing the remote while I'm climbing around doing all this stuff. To me, that's more dangerous. I don't think either way is really right or wrong, but I like my way better. Okay, throw this in reverse. Put a 3 on the volume. Because we're only using one ball, lots of water. The water does most of the cleaning anyhow. The only crappy thing is if you do introduce the chance of segregating the concrete on the way back to the pipe. With our mixes, we can get away with it. Like I say, you just got to make sure that the boom is relatively empty, and you just have mud the deck pipe if you're going to do it this way. Great time for a stroke correction. It's so annoying. Because it's Friday, we're gonna go extra water, get her extra clean. All right, go to your home. You know what to do, Mr. Sponge. About the same speed I prime at, a stroke every 5 to 7 seconds. You try and go super slow on these booms with the tight radius elbows, and the sponge just gets hung up and sits, and then takes off anyhow. So I'm not a real fan of going super duper slow. If you can, and the sponge will come back nice and controlled through your boom, by all means do it. But with the tight radius 90s, it's a little bit of a moot point in my opinion. Listen for that sound of the ocean. Sounds like we're there. Go to the hopper, check for some bubbles. Oh yeah. We got bubbles. Okay. We'll piece this back, or piece this all back together, fold up, and hit a quick washout here. Easy peasy. Right? Right. Boom switch neutralized. There you go. Have I ever mentioned how awesome the RZ boom is because the hose and tapers just fall right into the hose cradle as you fold up? If I haven't, now you know. sponge is back, boom's in the cradle. We'll bring the outriggers in, back up, pull the head back in, and we'll wash this thing out, and yeah, do a quick go through that, and then we'll head on out of here for the long weekend. Wow. And I thought you were done.
No, I've been getting expansion going in there.
Now keep in mind, if one riser is out by as little as a ½ inch from the rest, the average human will trip on it every time.
Yeah.
But I think we're bang on, right? Yeah, we're bang on. Do you have a good attorney? Do you have a good legal counsel?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Legal.
Good thing we got it all on tape. Looks good. Foreman guys are gonna love you, packing them panels in and out. All right, here we go, washer time, all backed in. Step one, I always like to take a couple strokes in reverse before I open the back end up. That's just a habit that comes from traveling the washout, going uphill, downhill. Sometimes the sponge can float its way back into the 6-inch high pressure elbow. So I'm gonna pull it right back to the outlet where it's easy to get at. There we go, a couple strokes in reverse. We'll flip our lid up here, like so. Grab our hammer, which is right here. I wasn't gonna forget that. Good thing I wasn't washing off site. I wouldn't do that. Well, maybe I would. Okay, so bust our back end open here. What am I doing there? Oh, a mess. What am I doing? And there's Mr. Spongy. All right, we'll fire the water up here. We'll dig our sponge out. All the way up there. There she is. Crack the hopper door. Better camera angle on this. This is the money shot. Got to drill all there nice and slow so we don't get concrete all over the undercarriage. Minimize that, right? Let it do its thing. Let me go the rest of the way. Kick her open. A few strokes in reverse. And we'll lift our grade up at the end of the next stroke. The piston will continue right to the end of the stroke before it stops. There we go. Take our water. Keeping our hands well away from the agitator. Even though the hopper grade safety switch works, we still don't rely solely on that. Assume nothing, right? Rinse that barrel out. Grate down. All right. Reverse. Let the piston do the same thing on that other side, which she has. Rinse the barrel. Whoa, a lot of pressure there. Hello. All right, what we're doing here, we do this in order of the most expensive and hardest things to clean 3 days later. Picture that you ran out of water, the pump went into shutdown mode, the engine went into shutdown mode, whatever. So what's the hardest to clean and potentially the most expensive and labor intensive? Material cylinders. What's the second hardest to clean? S-tube, right? So the cylinders are clean. Drop the grate down, Fire this thing back up. Wind the volume up in reverse. Now we'll get our S2. Once it's done stroke correcting, this thing hangs up every now and again on the stroke correction. Kind of annoying, but we'll spray through here till that water comes out in the hopper clear. Top and back to the tube. This little bit of stuff out of the way so it doesn't find its way back into the material cylinder. There we go. Back to the tube. Look at that. Nice and clean. Nice and clean. Anyhow, there you go. There it is. Another day back on the 38 meter pump. It's been a while. Super easy. Piece of piss job. I just hadn't made a boom pump video where I'm actually running a pump in quite some time. So, hope you found it enjoyable, maybe educational, entertaining at least. If you like the video, let's thin the lens here. We don't want making me look ugly. There we go. I don't want to be ugly. Anyhow, where was I? Oh yeah, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you thought the video sucked, give it a thumbs down. Leave me a comment if you thought it was great. If you think I'm really bad at pumping and I should quit doing YouTube, say that too. I'm open to all types of feedback. 4 years into YouTube now, I got pretty thick skin. I can take it. I can take it. And if you think the channel is really, really awesome, Canadian Concrete Pumper merch store, will put a link for that up here. Yeah, appreciate everybody for watching, and thank you for joining me on a day doing what I love to do. I know it's kind of sick, right? But I actually love doing this. So love doing it and love sharing it with all of you. So catch you on the next one.